Hello everyone, welcome to Creating a Kaleidoscope and the Playful Learning Stream with the 2-Bit Circus Foundation. My name is Kate and I'm going to be helping everybody create their own homemade kaleidoscope today. So I'm super excited. We're going to explore ideas about art and colors and light today because kaleidoscopes are an awesome way to view reality in a different view, whether it be while you're spinning the kaleidoscope itself because you will never get the same two images, or if it's just because of the different items that you put inside, they will always lay in a different way and you will never get the same image twice, which is super cool. So before we get started today, I'm going to give you guys some background information about our lovely kaleidoscope. Let me just transition to our next page. Yes, so you can see that there is this gentleman here in front of you, and you might be like, who is that, Kate? I really don't know what that is, or who that is actually. Well, just so you know, that is actually the great Scottish physicist, David Brewster, and he patented the kaleidoscope in 1817. So, evidence shows that pieces of polished obsidian, which are rocks, volcanic glass, were originally used as mirrors about 8,000 years ago. And the mirrors reflected sunlight or fire in early lighthouses so that ships wouldn't get lost and they could find their way in the dark. And there's possibly a record of an optical illusion used by ancient Egyptian magicians involving mirrors. But by the 17th century or the 1600s, there was what we call the Hall of Mirrors, which you might find in fun houses. Oh, good morning, Mike. I was talking about Hall of Mirrors. You might find them in fun houses where the walls and everything is mirrors. So it looks like your reflection is everywhere, or the tunnels go on forever and ever. But the corridors that this Hall of Mirrors originally created, good morning, Elizabeth, involved 357 mirrors, which is a lot of mirrors, inside of the Palace of Versailles, in which you can see today. So if you get the chance to go visit, hi Green Orcas, good morning! If you get to travel to France, especially once this pandemic is over, I highly suggest you go see the Hall of Mirrors inside the Palace of Versailles. It's extremely beautiful. But going forward, it wasn't until the 1800s where scientists were exploring with the concepts of light and optics that they improved resources enough so that people could focus on, instead of using those items as tools, they could focus on using them as leisure items instead, or to have fun with them, or toys. There were devices that were created and known as philosophical toys, and they became a form of amusement while being able to share scientific advances with the community. So a good example of a modern version of a philosophical toy might be a cell phone, or the iPod Touch, if you know about that, because that was a simpler form of an iPhone, but it held on, it carried all of your music, so it was better than using a CD player, which might skip if you walked the wrong way, and it could also carry many more songs versus just one CD at a time, which is what you had to use when you had your CD player, or in my case, my Walkman. I miss her all the time. But in 1816, this gentleman that you see on your screen, Dr. David Brewster, was the first to arrange the mirrors and objects in a tube, and he coined the term kaleidoscope. It was actually intended to originally be used by designers and artists who could be inspired by the beautiful patterns that they see, and that would in turn help them create their ideas. But instead, it became a toy, mainly for amusement. And it also was improved upon by an American named Charles Bush, who patented several improvements for the kaleidoscope starting in 1873, so about 60 or so years later. Bush's most ingenious advance is a form of special ampules. And what ampules are they're small sealed glass vials, and they usually often hold medicine. So I don't know if you've gone vintage hunting or thrifting, but they are small little vials about yay big. And sometimes they would have a cork or something else that would keep everything inside dust free. Tiny ampules also had been used as objects in kaleidoscopes. So it was just an idea that got innovated and used for something different besides just amusement, which is super cool. And then by the next century, radio and motion pictures took over, and there are many, many creations that helped create philosophical toys that helped improve these ideas when it came to optical illusions with the eyes and seeing motion. So I already did a lesson plan. If you want to go see it, please see our archive. But thaumatropes, remember that image that we would spin in our fingers and it would look like they were one? Well, a thaumatrope is a philosophical toy that came out of the kaleidoscope. Including with that was also the stereoscope, which is a device kind of like an early version of the VR AR headsets that you have now with your phone, because they took two separate images, and when you looked at them together, you would see depth of field. So you would see buildings in the distance as well as buildings in the forefront. And then last but not least, there's also the zoetrope, which is a very, very, very famous toy where you could spin it around and there's different little images inside. This is kind of like the early steps of animation, but each image would move very, very slowly. Let me see if I can draw you an example. Let me switch my view for you all and get some light on here for you, because it would be no fun if I started drawing and you couldn't see any light. Alrighty. So, a zoetrope. Boop, boop. So, on the outside, they kind of look like so. And then there's little images in these squares. And when it spins, those images move together. So it might be something along the lines of a balloon rising. So if I was drawing a balloon rising in 3 parts, I would start here, and then I would draw more of the balloon, and even more of the balloon, and so on and so forth until I had my full balloon in the image that I liked, and I would spin that around, and with the force of the movement and the way that it would move in front of your eyes, you would see instead, you would see the whole image moving instead of the stagnant photos that you had put together, which is super, super cool. I'm a big fan of kaleidoscopes. I've been playing with them since I was a little girl, and they were always super fun for me just to look through and spend hours just gazing at different colors and images coming together. And just so you know, the word kaleidoscope comes from the Greek words meaning beautiful form to see, and that's exactly what we see inside of a kaleidoscope whenever we look inside. So we're going to create our own versions today, but before we do, I have a video for you all that I would love to share with you that talks about the creation of not only, what am I thinking of? Not only the kaleidoscope, but a little bit of history about it. I'm sorry, my brain just like had a little brain fart, and that's totally okay. I found my place. So let me just transition to you this video over here. I love how it's made. If you ever get the chance to watch some how it's made, please do. It's definitely a treat. Oh, speaking of which, I do need to pause our music for the moment, because we want to be able to focus and really focus. Alrighty.
Don't you buy a
Alrighty, everyone. I hope that made a little bit more sense to you about kaleidoscopes, and I hope that you all learned a little something different. My little favorite quote from that was, "It might not be YouTube, but it's your tube." I'm a big fan of dad jokes and really, really corny jokes, so that one got me pretty good right there. So, as you can see, the professional way that they made kaleidoscopes is really, really interesting and intricate, and they use all sorts of different materials, but at the same time, if you think about it, when you break it down, cardboard, mirrors, found objects, there isn't a lot of materials that they're sourcing that is hard to find. It's just more about the spontaneity of the creations that you put inside, as well as checking your work to see what it looks like every now and then. It kind of reminds me of cooking. Like when I cook, for instance, and I find that I cook well whenever I get to taste my food as I go. If I wait until the last minute to taste my food, I often find that I get into trouble. And by that, all I mean is that it's just not as good as I think it could be. There's some things that I might miss, or I might say that, oh man, I wish I had caught that, or wish I had known that sooner. That would have helped my situation out a little more. But we're going to make our own homemade kaleidoscopes today, so I'm extremely excited about that. I'm super pumped to share this with you. If you're following along on our project playbook, it is page 49, where you're going to find the instructions. If you don't have our playbook, I believe it's still available for download on our website at www.2bitcircus.org. On there, you can find our brick playbook, our project playbook, and a couple other playbooks on there that have been provided for free to you, courtesy of Vans, I believe still, and I'm sure someone will correct me if I say that wrong, but I still think that is the case. So what we're going to need today in terms of materials. Yes, I do like Ted's jokes on that show. That's a great, great show, Green Orcas. But for the kaleidoscope, you're going to need a cardboard tube. I got this out of one of our 10-pound bags that you can purchase off of our website. This is one of our upcycled materials that we have. I know you can't see me, but I can see you. So this is a great hold for our kaleidoscope today. In addition to that, you're going to need a sheet of hard plastic because we won't actually be using mirrors. We're going to be using that instead to reflect the objects that we need to. But I asked myself, I said, Miss Kate, what, Kate? What if I don't have a plastic sheet of paper? That's a good question, Kate. Well, I thought to myself this morning, how can I MacGyver something at home that has the same properties as a mirror or that plastic sheet that's reflective, and I'm going to give it a try. So what I came up with instead is, ta-da, tinfoil. So what I did is I covered a piece of cardboard paper, just cardboard, in tinfoil. Both sides, as you can see, and then I folded it into a triangle shape like you're supposed to with our plastic sheet, or as I like to put it, Toblerone style. And I inserted it into this larger plastic tube because unfortunately my cardboard tube is a little too small for my cardboard reflector. But I'm going to give this a try and see if it uses the same properties. I am holding it up to my light source and I am getting light and reflection in here. So I think it should do us okay. But if you aren't this far along as I am, what you're going to do is you're going to either take your plastic piece of paper, plastic sheet that you have, or the tinfoil covering the cardboard, and you're going to make sure that the whole surface is covered if you're using tinfoil. And then with either substance or either material, you're going to fold it like such. kind of make like a triangle. You can see a triangle there. And once you create this triangle shape that you see folded here, you're going to then insert that into your cardboard tube that you have. And you should get where I am right now. I feel more like Captain Hook with this on. And the first thing that we're going to do, as always, is decorate the outside. So today I am doing something kind of space inspired because, as you know me, I love space. I do. And I've got all these different goodies from the warehouse that I was able to collect when I was there recently. So I'm going to take some of this transparent star shiny foil material. I like it a lot. Look at this. Look how pretty this is. Ugh, holographic and everything. And I'm going to wrap this around my kaleidoscope. Ooh, it kind of reminds me, I don't know if we have any Lego Movie fans out there, but it kind of reminds me of the portal tunnel that Emmett goes through when he travels into our realm instead of the Lego realm that he lives in. That's what this kind of reminds me of. Using our imagination to innovate. And please feel free to decorate this any way that you like or feel inspired to. Was anybody big fans of Kaleidoscopes as kiddos, or you are right now still? I'd love to connect with my other Kaleidoscope fans. Okay, I'm gonna tape that off so that it stays on here. Boop. Actually, what I've been looking for recently is holographic material that I can lay over my windows so that when the light shines through, I will see rainbows being illuminated. Ooh, look it, pretty. I like it. It makes this huge statement. It's a little extra, just like me. And I think I might wrap some of this decorating tape that I have right here around it as well. You are right, Green Orcas. This paper is not easy to maneuver with because it is plastic, and in addition to that, it's extremely slippery. It doesn't want to lay where I want it to. But thank you for your sweet, sweet comment. I think I might change your view because I seem to be working more in front of my face than with my hands today. So I appreciate your comment, Green Orca. Thank you. I was struggling a little bit. It wasn't laying straight, and that was annoying me. But if you want your paper to lay crooked, more power to you. You need to decorate this the way you want to. Sometimes people like symmetry, which is when things look exactly the same on both sides. And some people like asymmetry, like myself. And asymmetry is the opposite of symmetry. It means that it's kind of, both sides are different. Kind of, I wouldn't say lopsided. Lopsided is the wrong term, but it's just different. For example, our faces, most people's faces are actually asymmetrical. They're not identical to one another. However, our eyes can see symmetry when it comes to people's faces. So just so you know, societally, our eyes, we see people as more conventionally pretty based off of their symmetry. So the more symmetrical somebody's face is, the more our eyes recognize that as beauty. There's a long study of that in art called, there's a word for it. I will find it out for you because I need to stop juggling so many things because I'm doing too many things at once. But I've got the outside of my kaleidoscope tube decorated. I like this. It's simple. It's bold. It says something about me. I like it indeed. Once we are this far in the project, you're next going to move to covering the bottom of the tube with some black construction paper. I didn't have black at home, but I picked the darkest color that I did have, which is purple, which is a power color. And we're going to use tape to hold it in space. And then we also want to make a small eye hole cover as well. So we want to make sure that this at least fits our circle. So I'm going to draw a little bit of a marker for myself. Yes, screen archers, I agree with you. It is not easy to accept our own imperfections when it comes to our art. I'm a perfectionist myself, so I hear you loud and clear, but I've tried to change my mentality of making art as just trying to make it instead of trying to make it perfect. And that way I found my creativity flows better, I'm a lot happier, all of the above. Cool, so I have my bottom circle. Boop, boop. And we want to punch a hole in it. I seem to have misplaced my hole puncher, but I do have a letter opener. Whenever you're working with any sharp objects, please ask an adult to help you who's around you. I do not want you hurting yourselves, please and thank you. That would make me really, really sad inside. And then I made a little hole so we can see, and it looks like it's good. So we're going to tape our cover with our eye hole. And it's okay that it's oversized. I actually kind of like that it's oversized, honestly. That way I can make sure that no light is coming through this direction. I think the best advice I ever got from a painter that I really respected was Bob Ross. And I love that whenever he paints or I watch him paint, whenever there's something that goes differently than he expected, he calls it a happy accident. And I like to call a lot of the things that I create whenever something goes awry as happy accidents as well. It's trying to reframe your mind. It doesn't mean that you are deluded to what's in front of you, but you focus on the more positive aspects so that you can keep creating, keep going, instead of feeling frozen and stuck. So we've covered the end of the tube, so we know this is where our eye is going to go through to look. Okay, and then we want to cover the opposite end, so the end without our eye cover, with some plastic wrap. That's right, I've got plastic wrap right here. Not only is it good for food and keeping things protected from insects, but we can use it to create our kaleidoscopes. So you're gonna need a small sheet just like this. Woo! And we're going to cover the opposite side. Woohoo! Covering the opposite side. And we're gonna gently push the center, just like so, everyone, to make a little cup. We need that cup. I'm going to make sure my cup is ready to go right here. And then I'm going to tape on my plastic wrap so it doesn't move while I'm creating things. I hope everyone's enjoying their last few days of school before summer break. Does anybody have any good plans or fun plans for summer? I know we're in a pandemic right now, but there's still things we can do while keeping socially distant and safe. For instance, for my birthday that's coming up in a few weeks, I'm gonna go to a farm and go pick some strawberries, which I'm super excited about. All right, so we have our little cup. Next, we're going to start placing small pieces of art that we want inside of here to move around. So what do I have here, friends? I have glitter. I love a little bit of glitter. Be careful though, because glitter gets everywhere. I just opened it and it already spilled all over my table. And I didn't even spill it. I just opened the container. So keep that in mind, friends. And a little goes a long way. You don't want to put too many objects in here, because remember, like we were shown earlier on the how it's made video, some of the pieces the lady glued down and some of them she left free so that they could float around and make different objects. So, woohoo, no. So keep that in mind while you're filling up your kaleidoscope, friends. Because the last thing that I would want to happen to you is for you to start making your kaleidoscope and then all of a sudden you fill it up too much by accident and then you can't see anything, which would be très tragique. And très, T-R-E-S, in French means very. So I was just saying it would be very tragic if you filled up your kaleidoscope too much and weren't able to catch all your hard work that you put in here. So go easy on the amount of objects that you put inside of your kaleidoscope today. I'm really mainly telling that for myself because I have a tendency to go overboard. I get very excited and then I lose some control sometimes, and well, it's not always good. As an artist, you have to learn how to edit yourself, because while every idea is definitely important, not every idea is good. And I say that for myself as well. I have all sorts of ideas. And while I might share some of them with others, it doesn't mean that all of them come to fruition or come true. And that's simply because not every idea that I share or comes into my brain is good or perfect the way that it is. Sometimes they often need to be finessed by other people. So right now I'm cutting hollow strips to go inside my kaleidoscope. I'm not gluing anything down in this one, so that is going to change the mock-up of the kaleidoscope a little bit, because nothing will have a permanent spot. Everything will constantly be moving. And we're also not working with oil either, everyone, like you traditionally see in a regular kaleidoscope. So we will be working with gravity and the plastic wrap that you have in the inside of your kaleidoscope. And hopefully, with those powers combined, you'll have very pretty pictures. Oh my goodness, it is very hot today and I'm sweating. All right, so I have filled up my little kaleidoscope full of goodies. I don't want to tip it too much, but let me show you over here in my closer camera. Ooh, let me give you a close-up because that's beautiful. Look at all the shiny. Ugh, just like I was as a kid. Still love shiny objects. Okay, so once we have all of our little objects in our cup, what we want to do is cover the top with transparent paper or wax paper so we hold everything in place. And I'm going to grab a rubber band as well to hold everything. I love shiny too, green orcas. I'm glad we could bond over loving shiny items. So I've got some wax paper right here. And I'm going to lay it over the end of my kaleidoscope and go grab a rubber band. Rubber band. Okay. And I think I'm going to cover it twice just to make sure nothing falls out. Okay. So friends, we have made together today this beautiful kaleidoscope. Oh, I'm so happy right now. I'm really excited to look inside. So if you've been following along, what I want you to do first for me is to hold your hand over the end of your kaleidoscope, just like so, so that no light comes through. And I want you to look through the eye hole that you created, like I'm gonna do so right now. Well, I don't see anything. So we're going to write that down in our observation journal. Where is my observation journal? Where'd you go? Where's all my cats? Oh, here they are. Okay, all my cats. Alrighty, friends. So, we looked inside of our kaleidoscope. And what did we find? Nothing. We found nothing. So we're gonna write down no light. Oops, there we go. Equals darkness. That's right. When we looked through, there was nothing to see but darkness. That's no fun. All right, now I want you to do the same thing, but instead of covering your hand at the end, I want you to leave it free and hold it up to a light source. Let's give it a go. Ooh, okay. All right. That's kind of cool. Oh, that's pretty. All right, well, I don't know if I can give you a good view of this. Let's see if we can sneak it. Nope, the camera lens is not going to be large enough to see that. So, when I looked through that time, I saw something completely different. So, when there is light, what we saw inside was this beautiful, just beautiful pieces of art that these were the long strips of holographic wrapping that I had in there. And then I could see my little glitter sparkles as they moved around. And this is not to mention all the cool images that I saw on the sides. Now, keep in mind, when it comes to the mirrors or the triangles inside of your kaleidoscope, the smaller the angle is, the more reflections you will see. Think of it like a pizza. So the inside, so one angle of a mirror, for example, would be one slice of pizza, like so. But that's a slice of a bigger piece, right? But if each slice was this small, we would have many, many slices. Versus, if I were to make that angle bigger, here's our second pizza, and just have them at 90 degrees, we would only have 4 reflections. So keep that in mind. The smaller or the smaller the angle is of your triangle in your mirror, the more reflections you will see all the way around. Cool, huh? So that was our observations that we saw inside of our kaleidoscope. Now, you might be asking me, Miss K, I don't have any of these materials. All I have is my computer. Why do I feel left out? Well, friends, I have news for you. I found something super, super cool today that is an online forum or an online website that can be used to create a virtual kaleidoscope. And as I told you earlier, and as I warned, you can see that there's now glitter all over my face and my t-shirt. So be careful when crafting with glitter, because it will get everywhere. So I'm going to show you the Kaleidoscope website. Oops, not that one. Oh, that's why I couldn't find it. Of course I couldn't. It wasn't open. Well, that's a shame. Here we go, Kaleidoscope Painter. Yay! Okay. Here we go, everyone. Welcome to this amazing Kaleidoscope Painter website. It's really cool. So I'm going to select background color currently, and let's say purple. Oh, actually navy. This is a navy, but that's okay. I like that color. And I'm going to select this color right here. And watch this, guys. Woo! So the more that I drag my mouse across the screen, and where I drag it will create different kaleidoscope patterns, and I can continue or not go as far as I'd like, and I create these beautiful images. Look at that. Oh, that's so beautiful. Look at that mandala. Very pretty. And you can do this as long as you'd like. You can keep going with different colors and different patterns. Let's give this one a go. Maybe if we start outside, then, ooh, that's fun. Explore the different options that you have and maybe going different directions, or staying in like small pieces and going out here, and let your imagination soar a little bit. Give yourself the ability to create. Give yourself some time today to make something different and new. Ooh, I like that. I'm a big fan of that. This kind of reminds me of something very summery, very spring-like with the floral in the middle. I'm a big fan of that one. Okay, so now as you can see, they're auto drawing, and you also have that option. You can watch somebody else draw for you. And as you can see, there's a lot of different layers that you can keep going with. And it's just going to make those areas as dark or as light as you want them. And maybe this way, with the help of the auto draw, you can create something different and beautiful and unique. And that's what we love about art. We love unique art. We love art that speaks to us. And that's different for everybody. Everybody looks at things differently. Everybody has a different experience. And it's all super valid. Wow, look at that auto draw that we got. That's beautiful. I really like how the mandala was able to transition from darker colors in the middle to lighter on the outside. Happy accident, really, because I was just clicking random colors, and this is stunning. I'm a big fan of this. Well, I will leave this source here for you guys. If you ever need it, just Google Kaleidoscope Painter, and you can have hours and hours of fun on this, right? Well, I don't know if you know, but there is somebody who has bought the most expensive kaleidoscope in the world. And while I don't want to spend the kind of money that he did on that kaleidoscope, I'm extremely interested to see what it looks like on the inside. So I want to show you all this video so that we can share this experience together. This will be fun. Alrighty, let's see this expensive kaleidoscope.
Expensive. There's also a wait list to buy these things. You have to sign up for the go to the website, put your email address in, and just wait. And it took a while. I think it took maybe 2 or 3 months to get the email for this one. So.
Okay, but how cool is that? Not only does it have amazing color options on the inside, but it looks like the artisans that created that kaleidoscope also cut the mirrors in different ways so that depending on where the light sources shined inside of that kaleidoscope, it changes your view. Because you could see as he was moving the light up and down inside of it, there were different prisms that happened, whether you saw the full hexagon or it became more of a honeycomb effect. So on and so forth. I agree with you, Smitas. It is extremely amazing, and I wish I had the budget for this, but unfortunately, I don't have an extra $800 lying around to pay for a kaleidoscope. I wish I did, but I do not. Last but not least, I want to show you all a really, really cool video from NASA, from one of its scientists, who made a really, really incredible video. And what this video is Guillermo Villanueva, a NASA planetary scientist, created sunset simulations while building a computer modeling tool for possible future missions to Uranus, which is an icy cold planet in the outer solar system. We did talk about that. And to check the accuracy of his tool, Villanueva simulated known sky colors of various planets and moons, some of which are shown in this video that I'm about to show you. The simulations that he created show that the worlds are turning away from the light of the sun, which is what happens when we see a sunset. That's what we're seeing. Whenever we see a sunset crawl across our sky, it is the fact that our Earth is turning away from the sun and seeing less and less of it. As the world rotates, photons get scattered in different directions, and depending on the energy of the photons and the types of molecules that are in the atmosphere, such as the ozone, for example, like we have on Earth, the result is a lovely palette of colors that are visible to the naked eye and to the people who are standing on those individual worlds and planets, which is really cool, right? So what I want to show you is, oh my goodness, I was calling Villanueva Guillermo. I'm sorry, his first name is Geronimo. Man, I cannot read. So I want to show you Geronimo's work because it's very, very, very cool. And I hope you enjoy his computer simulation of different skies in the planet, different skylines on different planets. That's the right words, Kate. Wow, how beautiful. Am I right? That was so stunning. stunning to watch all of the different skylines that we have been able to observe because of NASA and our different probes that are up there and satellites that are up there that are taking pictures for us. My personal favorite out of that whole collection was actually Earth Overcast. I like our overcast days. It's very pretty, and it's not just a flat gray. It's actually these wonderful different shades of gray that you saw that the sky kind of gradients through. In addition to that, everything also has a beautiful light that's shining around it. I find that happens on overcast days as well. There's some beautiful natural lighting that happens that you can see right now with my lighting fixtures. This is the kind of lighting that you get on an overcast day. And as you can see, it's very lovely and it's very gentle on the face as well as any colors. The colors aren't oversaturated or undersaturated. They're just very gently lit. Like I am right now, and this is my personal preference when it comes to lighting choices. I like this over what you can see is a warmer tone. You can see that I grew a little bit more, the yellows came out a little more, my tan came out a little bit more in this color orientation. First, let me actually move both lights, that way you can see it happen drastically. There we go. You see a huge drastic change between these two. And then let's go to a cooler light. And that's completely different. This is more of a very early in the morning sort of light that you may have. And then this is what my usual lighting choice is for me. And I enjoyed this lighting immensely. This is what you get on an overcast day. So before I have to leave everyone today, let's go over what we talked about. Well, today's activity was the amazing kaleidoscope that you see right here. Woo, woo, woohoo, woohoo! And this was pretty easy to make at home. You just need a large either cardboard tube or some sort of large tube that you can house your plastic sheet that you fold into a triangle inside, or foil paper like I did. Then you're going to be covering one end for your eye hole and just poking out one little circle on one end, and then the other end you're going to be covering with parchment paper or wax paper so that light can come through. Before you cover your transparent side, you're going to cover the bottom end with saran wrap, as you see right here, saran wrap, and then make a little cup at the bottom so that you can fill that with beads or glitter or transparent paper, whatever you'd like to create the images that you see in your kaleidoscope. Once that is done, you're going to rubber band the end of it and then test it out. Hold it up to a light source and look through your eye hole with your eye and see how it works out for you. And then, of course, experiment with your hand covering your transparent side and see what that looks like instead. And in comparison, when your hand's covering the transparent side, you will see nothing. When your hand doesn't cover it, you will see a lot more. And this is because that is the difference between the absence of light and the presence of light. Without any light, we cannot see things in the dark. We don't have infrared vision. We can't see in the dark very well as humans. It just looks like a big mass of black to us. However, when we do allow light to come through, the light reflects off of the back of our eyes and reflects onto the object, and whatever color is not being absorbed by the object is the color that we see. For instance, on my scissors, these are pink-handled scissors, and that means that these scissors retain every color in the rainbow but this color. It actually reflects this pink fuchsia color, and that is what we see. So you know. That's why it's good to wear white outside when it's super hot, because it reflects all light, and black if you're in a colder climate, because it absorbs all light / heat, so you can get warmer versus getting cooler. So that is a little history on our kaleidoscope. And our kaleidoscope is known as what is blah, 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 is known as a philosophical toy because it took a science principle of reflection, refraction, and light and made it into an everyday common item. Other such philosophical toys that came out of the creation of the kaleidoscope include the thaumatrope, the zoetrope, and mirror halls. The most famous mirror hall that you can still see to this day is in the Palace of Versailles in France. And it involves 357 mirrors, if I remember correctly. The best way that you can find that in your local area is whenever the pandemic is over and we open up again, you can go to your local fair. There's usually a fun house inside that has a hall of mirrors, and that's exactly the same concept. The reflections that you see go on infinitely because of the angle that the mirrors are at. It can also lead to mass confusion because everything looks exactly the same, so you don't know which way to turn, and you might end up in a dead end area. And that's all the fun that comes into the magic of illusion, as well as tricking our eyes, which we love to call those different fun activities optical illusions, because it mainly messes with what we see and nothing else. So optical means our eyes, optics, your eye, your sight. Well, it is almost time for me to go, everybody, which makes me kind of sad. But I hope you enjoyed making the kaleidoscope with me today. And this is just the first half of our journey with light and these sources. Next week, we're going to make a periscope. And if you don't know what a periscope is, I will give you a slight hint. Do you know a submarine? I'm sure you all do. Submarines have that really long extendable arm, remember? That they can extend out of the water and see through. Well, that is a fancy real-life version of a periscope. What periscopes help you do is that they help you see at a different level than you currently are by using a series of mirrors. So next week, that's what we're going to get into in our part 2 of this class that we did today. I hope you all had a wonderful time with me like I had with you. Keep in mind that if you want to follow along with us at any point during your journey, please feel free to look on our website, www.2bitcircus.org, for 10-pound bags that you can buy of our upcycled materials, as well as project kits that we have already ready for you to assemble in your home. And we have videos to go along with those as tutorials to help you on your way with making your upcycled project. In addition to that, we also have our Teacher for Teaching streams in the evenings for parents. So that means you at home, or any educator that is at home needing a little bit of uplifting and happy moments, please tune in for Teachers for Teachers. Tomorrow, we're going to have the ever amazing, the awesomely talented Kane from Kane's Arcade on our stream at 10 a.m. tomorrow. And we will see you then. Goodbye, everybody. Have a good rest of your day.